Good evening, chili dogs. More trimming. I'm gonna get right into it. I'm not gonna waste too much time. I wanna kind of get this stuff done. Anyway, see you guys in a second. Ka-chow. Alrighty. We got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to do. We'll be okay. 9's really not that many. And I gotta zoom this in one more time. Alright. First we actually gotta check and see the thickness here. I'm feeling around. The bottom is about here. Right? Kimber B? So you guys can kind of see from this side. So the bottom of it is right about here, if I'm feeling. So I gotta be above that. So that gives me quite a bit of clay to work with. The interior of the foot ring, I want it to probably be about right here. And we're gonna start working from there. I guess the thickness starts where? Thickness starts on this, right about there. Okay. Alrighty. Somebody said, throwing a handle on the wheel went super well today. I was showing everyone in class your videos. Ah, thank you. That's nice of you to do that. Alrighty. Again, we're just taking this little legend. Remember always cutting those peaks and valleys. Yeah, and then we wanted to bring okay. Gotta trim and flatten out this top, so we're taking this little ledge. We're trying to make sure that it's not moving as much, so I think we got that edge down where we need it to go, but we need to start getting this. Well, look at these, some of these little noodles on here. But we're just trying to flatten and get this nice and even. Okay. We're going to level this out on the outside here, and then we're going to test the the thickness, recenter it, try to be done. Okay. To be honest, when I look at this, I think I made the foot ring a little bit too small. This is right on the precipice of being a little bit too small. The thickness all in here is okay. We can probably bring this down a little bit more, and this middle can go down, and then we're done. Okay. Zoom. Right about there is good. Good. Round this out. Push this down. Round this out. Push this down. Round this out. Push this down. There we go. Wheel. Camera B. We said we could bring this in a little bit more. Close in. Start from that middle, bring that out now. All right. Oh yeah. Good night. Thanks for stopping in. Alright, I think we kind of like the way that this shape is looking. I think that's going to be really nice. Alright, sweet. Okay, next. And then the nice part is tomorrow we'll be able to do like a fun little edit. Because we'll get we probably have about like 20 something of these forms like ready to have a handle put on the side of them. So actually we need to dig in a little bit here. Then we have an even point there, and we probably want to bring the foot in about there, and then the bottom thickness ends right about here. Okay. Oh, I kind of did just dent it, didn't I? We gotta be a little bit more gentle with this one. The bottom is still a little bit soft. Okay. We're good about there. A little bit worried about this. The walls are a little bit soft. I thought I let them dry for long enough, but maybe still had a little bit more to go. Okay, so let's mark the interior foot ring starts there, the exterior foot ring stops there. We can bring the clay all the way down to this point. Let's bring this all the way up and in from here. And we want to kind of bring this in and have this round off towards the top here. Because there's a small divot that I have to get rid of first, that's on this outside, and that kind of tapers this in, kind of like this. I think that's looking nice. Then we can go up from here. I think we're getting a nice thickness to find here. Again, there's a little bump here, and so that's what we're trimming in, just this bump. We have the urge to want to make this all rounded, but that's not what was in the vessel. Again, it's all about revealing. I think you're like a little archaeologist unveiling something, right? Pointing this down just a tad. I think this one's good. Nice. Probably could have gone a little bit more, but to me this feels okay. Plus we need to work on this top rim a little bit because it's getting all sort of wonky. So again, just follow. And you don't want to put any pressure, because if you put pressure, you're going to drag, like what happened there. What you really want is you just want to follow. Obviously you could center it and do that, but I could maybe take a little bit more weight out, but This feels okay to me. Alright. This one. Camera A. Somebody asked, does my family work in the arts or make stuff like me? No, they do not. Well, maybe. My mom, she cuts hair, so she does, she just, she cuts people's hair. So I'd say that that's a little bit art-like. And when I was a kid, I remember my mom making curtains quite a bit, so she did some sewing and stuff too. But zoom. I didn't even check how much thickness I gotta take out of here. Alright, so we can start bringing it down right on this edge. And the thickness ends about there. And we're gonna keep this one wide. We don't want to make this too narrow. Alright. I raised this camera up a little bit and angled it down ever so slightly so you can see more of this. I mean, I don't ever really make anything wider than that, I would say. Like at the base, I mean, so. Anyway. Just trying to imagine and visualize some stuff. Pushing this down. Again, right to this top edge here. We're going to start trimming. Again, always cutting those peaks and valleys. Camera B. Do you get paid from YouTube? I have the capability to earn stuff, right? But I have not been paid yet. Sometimes they ask for things like I can see how much I'm earning, but I've never taken the money out of there's like a little balance thing. It's almost like a little bank account, right? And so I can see that there's some money in there, but I can't take it out. They ask for like my social security card number, and I don't know, that stuff just always makes me nervous. So I haven't fully laid into it yet. But I don't think I really would make that much. Anything that I earned from YouTube in that account is just from that one video that I made, that short. I can't imagine me really making a lot of money from it right now. It'd be cool one day having a cup of coffee with YouTube money. think right now too, like, I don't want to really get too into the semantics of that, you know? I've only been doing the YouTube thing for a year, so I think I need a few more years before I really start making anything from it. Alright. Right in this middle. And again, you see how we're kind of just peeling this out to the side, right? Okay. We're going to lift this up. We're going to try it out. Still pretty heavy on the bottom here. We can get a little bit more. So I was thinking about doing the Twitch thing, but I don't know. It's, again, I think realistically, the thing that I should be focusing on the most is just the content that I'm making. I think that's the death of too many YouTube dreams, is just stopping trying to innovate. I feel like you should always try to be innovating somehow. Alright. Rotate. Where's that tool? It fell, I know. Oh, it fell right there. Probably actually could have centered this a little bit better. That's okay. Again, just rounding this bottom off. Alrighty. There we go. Really like the weight of this. Camera A. On the base of the foot, do you try to make it flat or have a straight incline? The base of the foot. You mean right the base of the foot. So when you say base of the foot, I'm thinking when I'm trimming it, the base is when it's connecting to the object here, right? But you mean the base as in this top edge. Sometimes they have inclines, sometimes they're flat, sometimes they're rounded, if you're talking about that. Like I said, I always try to match what I got going on the interior. So sometimes I'll sort of ask some different things of you. But I think I tend to make them flat, or if you mean the interior, I usually try to make them flat unless I have like a really rounded bottom of an object. This is a little bit dry. We're actually going to keep this. Some of these are actually getting a little bit too wet. This one's really wet. Okay. How's this one doing? This one too. I mean, wow. Sorry, I'll have you guys look at something. What's wrong with these ones is that the rims of all the objects are actually a little bit wet. Actually, that's a pretty one. Okay. Zoom. I'm in a show coming up here, and you know, I gotta make something for it. So I think I'm gonna start doing some test pieces. I don't know if you remember from yesterday, I was talking about how I want to make two more personas and make like a really different type of work. So I think I'm going to try to get that. Cooking here. The show's coming up soon, so I think I really gotta get cracking on it. I actually might even I don't know if I'm gonna throw tonight. Might be something I do tomorrow. I'll throw probably a bunch of new, well, I'll put all the handles on tomorrow and maybe I'll throw a little bit, which would be kind of nice. It's been good getting back into the throwing more often. I didn't even test the thickness. Anyway, well, I can assume that it's going to be really thick, so. Need to start bringing this up from this side. Okay. Let's see what we got with just this, and we'll go from there. It's actually a little bit more rounded. That foot's almost right in the right spot. Actually, we're actually pretty close. This one actually didn't have that much clay on it. Oh, there was one that was closer to the bottom. This must be it. The foot on this one's not going to be that large. But I think, oh wait, somebody asked, if it gets too dry, does dunking it into water work to get it leather hard again? People do that. That is something that I see often. Do I ever do that? No. That's why I like the wet boxes, is I can really maintain But I usually am in the camp of thinking, like, if it's too far gone and dried, then I'm not gonna make myself like put forth more effort to get it to work. Rather, I would start anew. But that's kind of my thinking on it. But I've seen that people do that, and for them it works. But I just personally, I don't do that. I kind of like the idea that in the back of my mind, you know how some people can like look at the sun and they can tell like what time of day it is and all this other stuff. By that, I like to have that feeling, but like I'm imagining clay like in the wet box, and I'm like, oh, it's been 2 days. I remember what wetness it was. Oh, it should be good now. It's in the third wet box. That one's a little bit drier of an area than the other ones. And so, like, I like the idea that I'm thinking about it when I'm just doing other things, right? And I'll be like editing or something. I'll be like, all right, it's time. I got to go down there and open up the boxes for a little bit, let them breathe, or oh, I need to transfer them or spray a little bit of water in there. The only reason I don't think I would do the dunking too, like I have my own personal process that prevents me from doing it, but then also, hold on, camera B, I have my own personal opinion is like, if it gets too hard, right, when you add water, I feel like the actual particles of the clay start dissolving, and so I would imagine that re-wetting it and allowing it to dry again is putting added stress on the form, and I would say could result in some defects later on, maybe like cracking and other things. But again, that's more of a personal opinion than fact. Actually, I'm a little bit disappointed by this pot. I know it might look pretty, but personally, I think it's a little bit... Oh, actually, I could go a little bit thinner, too. Oh, I could go deeper here as well. Maybe the foot is not as shallow as I was thinking. Do I have my own kiln? I do, but I can't use it. I am in an apartment, right? And so, for the sake of the sanity of my neighbors and the people who own this place, I'm not gonna, like the buildings, I'm not gonna have people complain about a fire hazard. You know what I mean? I already think the studio in the basement is already kind of pushing it. So that's my opinion. Alright, a little bit lower, and we're good. Needle. We're just bringing this right up. So you can see how we're just bringing these peaks and valleys, these grooves. You can see we have like little angel hair noodles. The largest piece I've made is probably right around 3 feet. Is the tallest, and then maybe maybe a little bit under 3 feet actually. And then the widest is probably about 32 inches. But I don't really think like the only thing I have with making large work is sometimes I think it's I don't want to be mean to potters, right? But I think it's a predominantly masculine pottery thing to do is to just like make a large thing. And so I think sometimes I don't like the idea of like rating somebody's, I know you're not doing it, but I'm just thinking about like rating somebody's skill level by if they can do things large, right? I see all the time in a lot of classes, I'll have students who they're not really ready for the size. You can tell that they don't have control over the larger amount of clay, but they still make a large thing, and then once they finish it, it just doesn't look the same as like the professionalism that they'd bring to a smaller piece, right? Big pot equal big man. What's the 3 feet thing? It's I used to make these. So how I was telling you guys about the idea to do like a gallery persona, is I used to make these really tall ceramic stacks, right? They're just essentially like these big tubes that I throw on the wheel. And I'm thinking about that's what I want to make again. But that's the tallest, right? And then the widest, I was making these. I don't know if you've ever seen my plaster drying boards. They actually fit on the wheel, and they're just giant plate molds, essentially. And then I just have, it's like a little curve. It's like a big, wide bat. That's all I do is I center the clay, and I peel it all the way down, and then I just wait, and then I can just pop it over. You say you have a show soon. Is it like a gallery show, and there's going to be photos online? So my thing is, this one is not going to be really a part of this will be just a test of the work, right? And how it's going to look in a displayed area. But when I do the gallery persona thing, I'm planning on making a totally different, maybe not even a YouTube, maybe just like an Instagram account, and call it like Johnny Spoon or something. And I'm gonna make like spoof work that's just like really tall things, and then like dress in like some like streetwear, you know, and then like take like hype beast photos with it, right? So that's kind of my idea for that. But I'd pretend like I wouldn't like do stuff like in the images like satire, hashtag satire. Like I'd actually like really try to lean into it as like an idea, right? Like performing like an archetype of a pottery person as like an art piece, right? Like it's more of like a performance of that persona, right? Johnny Spins. I like that last name. Spins. Daniel Spins. No, this one is not. But the ones later on will be. Oh wait, no, the ones later on won't be either. So none of them are. And I would probably try to do, I have some friends who do like a lot of gallery stuff. I would probably try not to be with them. Like I don't want to be recognizable. Like I want to wear those little like beanies that have the eye holes cut out. The weight on this one's really nice. You don't have a maker's mark? No, I don't do that. The whole thing. There's a camera A. Camera A. There's a book. I think it's a Japanese book. And it's called The Unknown Craftsman, right? And ever since I read that, I stopped signing my stuff. I wish I could understand what these people are saying. I wish I was in on your guys' conversation there. It seems like you guys are talking to each other. Alright. Zoom. Camera B. I kind of like that. There we go. This is the first time I've ever seen your live stream. I'm loving it. What camera system is this? I have the one that you see right now, wheel. This thing, and I can kind of talk. I can say desk. Wait, desk. Desk. It shows like, usually I'd have something going on there other than my little water bottle. And then I could say mini wheel, which I used to have a small wheel, but this is now just like an only face cam. And then I also have these that I could, I can have a couple different things. Double versions of me. Camera A. Zoom. So just have some other alternative angles and stuff, right? But the one that is on a gimbal, it's called like an Insta360. It's just a webcam. And then the one that you're looking at right now, this is just a normal camera that I have hooked up to like a video card. or a video capture card. But the gimbal camera is really nice. Again, it's just a webcam, so like if I get too zoomed in, it's a little bit blurry, but I think the convenience of having it move around is just like too good of a plus to even care too much about the quality loss. I wish that I had a manual thing, which would have kind of been my dream. Like somebody that just sits behind me and then like tracks things for me. But you cried. I don't know what you mean. Wait, did I say something cry-worthy? Close in. I forgot that this thing is kind of thick through the whole vessel. So we gotta make sure we don't make it too thin on the bottom here. They're speaking in Turkish, I think. They're talking about crying. Interesting. Turkish. I had one opportunity to go to Turkey, but I couldn't go. This was at a point where I think there was some bad relations between the US and Turkey, so we weren't allowed to stop in. But I was really close. I went on like this high school trip to Europe, which was really awesome. Anyway. Was this one thrown with about a pound of clay? This one for sure, but some of the ones I did earlier, maybe a little bit less than a pound. But this one, the walls are a little bit thicker, I noticed. And so, anyway. There we go. No, I don't know. It's potbelly held Turkey is the oldest recorded civilization in history. Wow. Do they have pottery? Because I remember that some of the early pots were some like nomadic European thing. I think that they were like fishbone imprints on them. They used like fish bones as like stamps on them, and they were like cones just in the ground. And some people say that they were for like the transportation of fish. Like they would like just fill it up with water and then like travel with fish or something like that. But I wonder what the pottery of this thing you brought up kind of looked like. Alright, I think we kind of like the depth that we're rocking with there. We're going to clean up this connection point. I can feel it starting to get thin, so I gotta be kind of a little bit more serious here. It's so sad. They're talking about being surrounded by people but feeling lonely. Interesting. We'll lift this up and we'll feel what we got here, but actually thinking it might be still a little bit thick, but we could also be we're still a little bit thick even there, huh? Yep. Okay, we gotta bring this down more, y'all. Interesting that people just will come in and just chat with each other and like speak poetry. It's one thing I wish I was more used to do when I was a kid is I used to leave like a lot of YouTube comments. And just like join the comment section and just talk with random people, but I don't do that as much now. Skim reading Unknown Craftsman, it just made my maker markets make me want to throw them. No, don't do that. Maker's Mark is fine. It's just kind of like an interesting philosophy. So We're kind of going a little bit crazy on the inside of this one. But that's just because we have such a large foot, you know? I think we like what we got going on here. If I just like look at this foot for a second, it's just such a tall foot. You know, I mean, look at this. That is such a tall foot. And I probably still could take some more weight off it, but I'm not going to. I think this is the limit of what I'll go to. If I go too thin, I feel like it's gonna feel a little bit weird. But I just like that foot. It almost looks like a jar. It's kind of funny. All right, so we got this one to trim, this large one to trim. So we got a couple more. Feel around here. I want it to be right in there. We can take that all the way down to this. This is another one with a large foot. Okay. Somebody said Turkish. I feel like I'd like to get, I can get a thing on my, I think not through this chat, but I think I can link a chat to a website and they can like auto translate everything, which that would be pretty awesome. And we're going down to this bottom area here. We do another wide foot? I think we do. Wow. That's crazy. I feel like once I have the ability to do these wide feet, it's hard for me to reject the possibility. Especially since so many of the ones that I've been making recently I've been small feet. So sad. You can see right here, I'm pushing a little bit too much. So that's pretty unfortunate. Yeah, we gotta go a little bit deeper on this one. I'm getting so sad. I did the same thing twice in a row. So, what's happening is the bottoms are still, like, once you get past that surface, it's still a little bit wet on the inside. And so my normal pressure that I have been doing with all the other ones is a little bit off. Working with the softer stuff, so then I end up cutting just a little bit too much out, and then instead of cutting easily, it gets snags in that wet clay. So I gotta do a little bit better of a job here. Oh no. This one's a difficult one. Oh, why did it switch? Where's it even looking at right now? Goes in? Good evening. We'll flip this over once. I feel like I can go a little bit deeper. It's almost there. That soft clay is really just screwing with me a little bit on the inside there. Alrighty. There we go. Alright, we're going to start suctioning them. That happened so many times on this one. After you suction it, you really don't need to put these on there, but it's okay. Actually not a fan of these really wide, large feet. I feel like it's taking me a little bit longer to do these. How long have I been doing this? Yep, just about 6 years. Probably actually 6 years for sure now. Really like the foot. There's these really just large, deep. You could have a bowl of cereal out of that foot. All right. So another one, but we're gonna do more of a petite foot on this one. I think we can get some really nice contrast here. you have a technique for doing that pattern carving on the side, or you just freehand that? I kind of just freehand it with the like the point of like a rib tool. I usually just freehand that very lightly. I just tap on there, and then I just kind of squiggle it up and down as I'm going up, right? So I go like, right? So do you see how my hand is raising, but I'm just continuing to squiggle? That's kind of the motion of the tool. Is the sponge attached to the rib? Well, yes, they they were dried together. There you go. Don't you know that sponges, they stick to wood? They're magnetic to wood. Actually, that's what that is. Just kidding. Crusty? Yeah, very crusty. I have a little bit of this right here on this side, a little bit of this right here on this side. I'm liking this. Nice. Okay. I think the rest, we're gonna do a vibe shift. You guys ready? I feel like we're almost done, so let's do some funky stuff. You guys like this? Good? Camera A. You guys ready? We're gonna trim the other way. Get the needle tool. Shape. Ciao. Zoom. All right. And the clay's a little bit soft. We have a lot of material we can get rid of. one thing quick. Bring this in. We're trying to get a lot of that material off, right? Can actually go a little bit more in. I just want to start bringing this across too. This forward. Smooth this out. A little bit too much out. Take this down too. Like how you guys like there's like so many things going on right now. There's some people are just like vibing to like what I'm and not looking at the chat at all, right? Then there's people in the chat who are having like this like whole entire like love story. Then there's the people who are translating everything in what they're saying so then they can keep up with what's going on. It's just kind of interesting. It reminds me of, you ever see those shorts where it's like a car in Grand Theft Auto like going down like a ramp or going up a ramp or doing like tricks, and then there's like a really sad story going on alongside of it. Reminds me of that, but in a stream format. You got a lot of clay built up on the sides. All right. You see I'm kind of pushing this away from my hand a little bit now. I actually just figured this out, is that if I keep trying to go right here, that's why this keeps hitting into the wall or the foot ring. But if I just project this out forward, it's going to start hitting this side, and then now I no longer have this bump here hitting this, right? That feels like it works a little bit easier for me. Keeping that nice and even. The weight on this one feels really good. Really like, I could have gone maybe a little bit smaller with the foot ring, but I think that the contrast is already good enough. Any smaller, and I think if you were to like fill it up on one side, it would fall. So we're gonna say that that's close. Pretty dang close. Okay, we got two more. I remember when I premiered my Going Through the Tiny Door outro. Going Through the Tiny Door. I don't know which one. Well, I just realized this isn't the twisted tree style you always made. Yeah. That was just one project that I was doing for last year. So I finished that project. So now I'm doing a lot of like off the hump stuff. Some of the stuff, I can show you what it looks like. I'm a fan of this one, so let's show you guys this one. I got some mold growing on it right now. But if you look, you can kind of see. Hopefully we still got some of the soul of it in there, right? But they are pretty different, right? And so these are what I've been making, a lot of trimmed, weird objects. I'm really laying into the idea that they are it's inspired by fungus, and the way that fungus grows on fallen trees. Like there's this tree, it's like this really kind of pure form, and then there's this like really like odd, very different style attached to it, right? So yeah, we'll get things attached. Thanks. So that's kind of what I've been up to these days. Give me a thumbs up to show this is live. That was so cringe of me to do that. Camera B. It's in the worst position, yo. We'll go without this. I'm gonna just trim a little bit off the outside here.
I'm on the dance floor with music in my ear. I have no worries. I have no fear. I'm on the
Can't use
dance
it.
floor.
Account how do I fire stuff? Well, I don't fire anything. That's also why none of the trees that I did from last year are fired. But I work at a couple different art centers and stuff, so I have access. I just have to drive it's there. But the trees, they're too fragile that a lot of them just break in transit. Cups, especially if they're a little bit leather hard, they're totally easy to move. So we still got quite a bit of thickness in the middle. We can bring it down to about there. Okay.
I have no worries. I have no fear. I'm on the dance floor with music in my ear. I have no worries. I have no fear.
Why don't you fire anything? It's because you don't want to keep them?
Dance floor with music in my ear.
I want to keep them. I mean, it's just, it's hard for me to bring, like, I have like 1,136 of them upstairs, right? And it's hard for me to first transport them somewhere and then have the availability, because they're like full working studios, like they have classes and stuff. It's not like I can just kind of take control of the whole space for a little bit, you know what I mean? Like it'd just be a little bit disrespectful for me to kind of use the facilities like that. And I think a lot of them would break, so I'm not firing those. But the point wasn't really to even fire them or glaze them even. It was just really to make them, and the year was the project. Does that make sense? So whatever happens now is kind of like it's bonus for those things. You want to cut. You want to cut straight through the foot and remove the whole bottom. Me? Like that's what you want me to cut through the whole foot? Are you talking about some of the ones I did before? Past work. I used to do that, yeah. I made these bottomless pots. That's good enough. Pretty deep foot, right? Realistically, I actually probably had a little bit more I could. Oh no. We'll attach something there. You guys didn't see what happened. As far as you guys know, nothing happened. The tree didn't fall. You guys didn't see the tree fall in the woods, so you don't know it really existed. Whatever that one sound is. No, I didn't drop the piece. I dropped my tool and it like jabbed into one of the bottoms of the other ones, but that's where I'll put the handle, you know. It was not in a bad location. Okay, hold on. That's actually kind of funny. Let me put the handle there. Actually, can go flat from right there. Wow, okay. And I'm gonna bring this one in, probably about to this. It's a little bit off center too, but this is the last one. Just awesome. We had some good looking pots here, y'all. We could probably clear 50 a week pretty easily. So he said, oh my god, that's so real. I cover everything with handles. Yeah. For sure. It was the manifestation of my latent desire to render the pot functionally useless. Yeah, you remember that, huh? That's so funny. Yeah. My body was talking. It was in control there. My mind was thinking, like, set this down. My body just said, like, it must have a hole in it now. There's no exceptions. So funny. He's getting soft again. So annoying. And I make sure I'm not letting it move me, my tool. You can see as soon as my tool starts bobbing up and down, I'm cutting off center. It's kind of hard once it's like it's so soft. So I did this thing on these other ones I was working on not too long ago, where I let there be a little groove here, right? And what I found is that sometimes you can make it so glaze pools right here, and so you almost have like this little undercut underneath the foot here. So we're gonna, or the edge of where the bottom starts, right? So we're actually gonna play with that. We're gonna lay into this a little bit more. Insert.
Can you feel it? I want you to feel it. In fact, you create this feeling. And it's happening right now, right now, right now, right now, right now, I want you to feel it. Right now.
You guys kind of see the shape though, right?
And it's happening right now, right now, right now, right now, right now.
Sorry, I got really focused. I feel like this one actually has potential to be like, oh. Oh no, guys. We did it. Sorry. I was getting too zoned in, so that's what happened. He knew it. He knew it. He knew it. Oh, camera A. Camera A. Dude, bro literally predicted it. That's so funny. Well, we can at least let's use this though as an opportunity to cut it in half, and we can get a look at what we got here, right? So let's not have this be a total loss. Let's use this as an opportunity, right? Okay. So where's my fettling knife? Okay, fettling knife. Zoom.
Can you feel it? I want you to feel it.
So now you guys will be able to see the interiors of my walls a little bit,
This feeling.
which that's pretty good,
And it's
right?
happening right now.
And you guys can see where it went wrong on the bottom here, right?
I want you to feel it.
Right? Close in.
I want you to feel it
Camera B.
right now.
So that's what my issues was right here. The walls are pretty good, but I actually thought I had more thickness. Obviously, I thought I had more thickness here, right? And then that obviously was not the case. But you can see the thickness of my foot ring is somewhat close to this, right? I could have brought this down a little bit more probably, and that would have been okay. But I got way too rambunctious. But you can see what I was trying to do, right? Like on this edge, let's use this one as an example. Like glaze is coming down, pooling, and it's gonna form a little nodule over top, and then I could have a different glaze on this bottom part here, so it could look kind of cool, but it's okay. It was bound to happen eventually, you know what I mean? Take a little bite out of it. Well, at the very least, what can we do with this? We'll keep this. I can imagine this being like kind of a weird handle of some sort. We'll keep that side. But the rest of it, no. Camera A. We trim this one though, right? Yeah. Okay. So that's all she wrote, y'all. We'll have okie dokie. Good evening, chili dogs. Thank you guys for watching. We trimmed 9 things, but only 8 things survived. Wah, wah. It happens. That's just the process of it. You could tell, like, if you scroll back, you'll see, like, all of a sudden I get like total lasered in focus because I got an idea. And so this is a good reminder, like, you got to make sure that you're really doing the form justice, not trying to make something happen because you wanted to. So that was me slipping up on my own rules at the end there. And obviously you got to see what happened. But regardless, it's cool getting to cut the piece in half. You know, I'm glad we got to experience that together. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. All the best. Strong mentality.
festa vai começar.
Nosso ritmo é aqui, ó. Fica à vontade, tá? A sua ação tá liberada. Fica à vontade, piranha. Se derrete, querida. Beijo, tchuca.